in my opinion, you gotta have one of the two, if not both. That's why I say I wouldn't be surprised if Fam ends up being the sixth band. And then obviously Weber Marketing, if I'm not mistaken, he is a Southern guy. You got to have Southern in there when you pop out and show people on the first time. It wouldn't make any sense. Plus, you got to also remember, man, let's be clear. You're already in Florida and you got Bethune. That's a draw, right? For all the Florida people. But we also know that Southern, in and of itself, the jukebox is a draw. And can we talk about the massive change that the jukebox has had in these last couple of games? Can I take a pause on talking about this showcase for a second to say the jukebox is not the same jukebox that the year started with? And I will go so far as to say, when they were the first performance they had, I think it was National Battle of the Bands. I think they were there. It was either them or Jackson. It was somebody. Anyway, the first performance they had, I remember I was like, all right, cool. Southern is coming out being Southern. And then it dipped a little bit, right? And for whatever reason, whether it was trying to figure out who they are, trying to figure out the arranging styles, whatever it was. And then they went to California. They cut fat. And then all of a sudden it was like, yo, this is it. This is it. And from there, it's been upward mobility. So when I saw the fifth between Southern and PV, I was like, all right, Southern. Okay. This what we doing? Cool. I just want to make sure that I recognize that, because let's be real, man. Southern was getting trashed at the beginning of this season. Southern was getting trashed at the beginning of this season. And whatever your reason or rationale is for people out there who was saying that Southern ain't the same no more, kid gotta go, all of these different things, for whatever your rationale was, Southern, can we all agree? Cohesively, can we all agree that Southern is trending back up? Can we all agree on that? I'm just saying. I know I had to take a pause from talking about, the Pepsi National Battle of the Bands, but I had to go ahead and give props where props is due. And here's the thing. I didn't think Southern was bad. I didn't think Southern was terrible. Again, I just felt like they were in the process of trying to find, with the multiple arrangers that they have, trying to find what works for this new iteration of Southern. Right? Cause let me take it a step further. This is not specific to Southern, what I'm about to say. As a band director, you never get the same band that you had the year before. Right? You never get the same band that you had the year before. Especially when you start talking about adding new areas of leadership in certain places, right? Because you bring on new thoughts, new ideas, new perspectives, so on and so forth. And so sometimes you have to reinvent yourself. Sometimes you have to take a step back and say, hey man, this worked for the last group, but this may not work for this group. So I really believe that in my heart of hearts, I didn't think that that was an issue with Southern. I think that they were trying to develop what this iteration of Southern looks like. And so now I think they found it. And then they brought out and then what? Now they can't stop playing. They can't stop playing it. They can't stop playing it. And sometimes you got to go back to the classics. Sometimes you have got to go back to the classics. I was excited when they played, I think it was Get It On during the PV battle. I ain't heard them play that in a while. So sometimes you got to go back to ground zero and rebuild in order to be able to find where you're supposed to be. That's happening right now with me. See, now I got to let y'all into my personal life. From a production standpoint, from an audio engineering standpoint, right now, there are some things that are happening. So I got to go back to ground zero. I got to go all the way back to the first scene I ever set and then rebuild my whole set again. And sometimes you have to do that to build clarity, to find yourself, to find something new, to find something better. So all in all, I think that they're upward mobility. I like where they're trending. But